What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Today, guys, I'm going to talk about YCS Indianapolis. Now, this is going to be a video where I make some very bold predictions. I'm going to talk about what I expect at the event, and I got to make sure I get this up tonight, otherwise it really won't be worth a damn. First, let's start with the boldest prediction of them all. Windups will not win YCS Indy. There are two major factors that make me come to this reasoning and that make my opinion justified. Number one, I don't believe that Windups is head and shoulders above the competition at the level that makes me comfortable picking it. I say that because I don't feel like the deck is tier 0, and I don't think that it's heading in that direction. The second part of my argument is you could even make the argument that Windup may have snuck up on some people, or people just weren't prepared for it as well as they should have been at YCS Toronto. I think that that would be a weak argument, but you could still make it. I mean, let's be real. I said that Windups was the best deck before Toronto after seeing it in action for about 3 minutes. So most people should have kind of seen what a lot of the pro players were playing, but I guess it was kind of a 50-50 Windup Geargia split at that point. I don't think you'll see that at Toronto. What happens when you are perceived to be the best deck? Well, basically you get a huge target on your back to where people will now start dedicating about half their side deck for you. We already know with tech cards like Goes and Match and Needle Sealing do to the deck, in addition to just straight up hand traps. I mean, the thing about Windups is it's hurt by both of them, Max C and Effect Veiler. So everything is kind of culminating to where you're going to start seeing people overcompensate for Windups. You're going to start people main decking 3 Max C, 2 Veilers, and it's like they might lose against other decks, but I mean, these Windup players are going to, they're going to get really adversely affected by all these people overcompensating unless the Windup players just play decks that can't main hand traps. The deck that I think people should watch out for, because I look at the perfect storm that's brewing and I see all these people overcompensating with too many hand traps, and I'm thinking, you know what deck is going to eat that up? Dark World. I honestly believe right now it's on nobody's radar. I think that people are going to overcompensate so much that they're going to play against Dark World and just have a mess of dead cards in their hand. I think that people are they're really underestimating the deck because they think that game 2s and 3s are relatively easy against Dark World, and they're really underestimating the fact that good players can play the deck. Players who play wise and smart and don't take those uncalculated, unnecessary risks. So quite frankly, if Dark World wins this event, it would not surprise me at all. Dark World is my sleeper pick to win the event. I think that Dino Rabbit would be the second choice to win this event. Quite frankly, I think that most Dino Rabbit players were not running enough hand traps at the beginning of the format. I still don't see that match as being overwhelmingly in the Windup players' favor. I told you guys that the match is more favorable than it's ever been before. That's because, I mean, last format, it was Windups couldn't beat Dino Rabbit. They didn't have a prayer. The match is pretty close to 50-50, but I'm still good with that if I'm a Dino Rabbit player. I mean, you're the best deck of the format, so people aren't going to be siding heavy for Dino Rabbit. They're going to be siding heavy more for Windups, you know what I mean? Even though the fact that sort of the same cards kind of hurt the deck, Goes and Match, Max C, Effect Veiler, Thunder King Ryo, but that hurts a lot of decks. So ultimately, I think that these decks like Heroes and Dark World might be in peak position with people, trying to side deck cards like Needle Sealing and Goes and Match that won't hurt these decks at all, might be in prime position to do some really big things. I just look at Dark World, and I still think no bad matchup against any deck of the format. Game 1 dominates pretty much anything. Windup players, Dino Rabbit players have limited side deck options outside of spell and traps, which Dark World players, we've already addressed that, should know how to side accordingly. And the fact that hand traps don't affect Dark World in the slightest. So you're going to have a mess of dead cards. So ultimate predictions. My favorite going into YCS Indy is Dino Rabbit. My sleeper pick to win the event is Dark World. Bold prediction, Windups will not win. And I think that Heroes will probably place about 2 decks in the top 32. So let me know what you guys think is going to happen at YCS Indy. And a deck, I guess, might ultimately top and completely shock people. Let's go Frog Monarchs. Talk to you guys later.